Yo, what up, girl?
How much do you know, Helena?
How you doing?
Well, actually, let's wait a second. Let's wait so long.
No, go. We'll go into a private call. Go ahead, Helena.
Did she actually say
Well,
that?
let me just answer this question first, Helena. Do you think you'll be having any more private calls with JJ in the future?
I never have had one, luckily.
Good.
Do you think you'll ever have one now?
Well,
I
it's
don't
not
think so.
exclusive to private calls. Like if you were in a hangout and you were on cam, there's just a likelihood that he's
Hold on.
probably.
Hold on. Iron.
No
I don't think she really said that. Iron.
Yeah, he doesn't even need cams.
Did she say that in text or in the voice chat, Iron? Because I don't recall that part from her.
Yeah, wait. If that's the case, then like I don't really know.
I remember that she said that there was one specific call where she said she had gotten home from doing something and she was topless but laying
She said she was
down. But I
covered
don't.
up, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like,
Wait, but still though, like that like whole like kind of, I don't know. It seems
But
kind of
the second part that Iron's adding though is that I didn't hear or recall.
Wait.
He was talking about sexual preferences on that call.
Wait, she was topless but covered up. Like what?
You
like,
wouldn't-
She was
Yeah,
not
you can-
topless.
A
She
blanket.
was in the bed. She was in bed laying on her stomach.
Well, she
Like,
described it as
it's the same thing as wearing like a halter top or something.
right.
But like the thought of like. her,
Well,
like,
no,
being
not
topless,
wearing a
though.
halter top is not the same thing as wearing a halter top.
But like it just seems
In
kind of
terms
weird.
of exposure, JJ.
Did she have a negligee on?
Not as I recall. But
But Iron was saying that she was
Ugh.
discussing sexual preferences on the same call, and I don't.
So
remember
what?
saying-
Well, that's irrelevant to jerking off in a phone call.
Well,
Like,
no.
what?
I'm not defending it. I'm saying I don't remember her saying that like at all. She was here and
No, she said she did talk about sex and shit, but she
Yeah,
said
they
like,
talked about all
yeah.
kinds of things, like as if they
I don't
were
think-
friends who trusted one another.
I don't think any of that's relevant.
Of course you don't.
I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of weird, just like laying in your bed like topless. Not saying that like someone jerking off to that would be like okay, but like I don't know.
Do you
Seems
think
kinda
do you think it's not okay for like a dentist to jerk off over
I
your
think
anesthetic
everybody's
body?
missing the main point. It was just bizarre. Everybody's focusing in on JJ's and his masturbating and stuff, instead of what I think is the thing that I'd like to talk to JJ about, which is why he allowed this misconception to go on. He kind of smeared her and let it happen.
Oh, he said it
That-
doesn't. He didn't. He's just straight up lying.
I'll just let
saying there was
Jovan speak for me.
nothing to do with him.
I'm actually
Go
just
ahead.
going to go.
I'm
just gonna let Jovan.
No.
Yeah,
I'll shut
Jovan,
up.
can
I'll
I
mute
talk
myself.
really
to
won't.
JJ? Can I?
You actually won't, Jovan.
Oh, I'll mute myself right now.
But the reason was because he thought it would destroy the server.
I agree with Jack
Speaking
on
of
this
which, speaking of which,
It was all part of the grand strategy.
I have a feeling that wasn't why.
Wait, did
JJ.
he leave?
no. So what? What's the
Okay.
thing?
I don't understand. I'd like to understand more. Like the masturbating thing, whatever, right? But if I,
Right.
I watched that thing, the thing she cared the most about, and none of the moralizers are bringing this up. And this was the thing she said several times. She reiterated was the part that she was concerned with was how you allowed for this misconception about her and her contribution to go on. Like that is harming another person. So that's different from like, masturbating and whatever, is allowing this rumor to just go unfettered and just sitting there while everybody gets the wrong impression and not doing anything to correct what
here
and
comes Cam.
explain.
Helena, I
No,
agree with
Cam,
Just
I want
let
to talk to
Helena do it.
JJ.
Oh,
No.
Let
Hold
Cam
on,
say
Helena.
this one thing though.
Oh my
Because-
God.
Because
Seriously,
this is,
Helena.
Helena, this is actually the thing that I have focused centrally on.
Okay, Cam, great. I'm glad you did. Can I talk to JJ?
Sure.
Okay, just wait a second.
But you made the claim
Oh
that
my
none of the
God.
moralizers had focused
What the
on that.
fuck?
Okay, all right, gotcha. You did it. Gotcha.
Yeah, Cam did try to focus on this though.
Okay,
But
great.
go
But can you
ahead, go
talk
ahead,
about
Helena.
this, JJ? Because I really never thought you would do a thing like that.
Oh my God.
Well, I did actually talk about it.
Could
And
you repeat what you
specifically-
said? I mean,
Well,
okay,
so
let me
what
see if
she-
what I remember is you said you don't care because you didn't care about her.
That's true. I mean, I really didn't care to correct anybody spreading this rumor, which I didn't spread. You understand that, right?
I've always known that. I've always known you have to be very careful when you listen to JJ. Listen very carefully because you're very particular. You like to play that way.
What I'm saying
but that's
is
not
I've never,
the issue.
I've never,
I'm wondering why
saying-
you let that happen. Like, why did it seem okay? That's the part that
Well,
I
I
would
don't feel like-
if I'm
I
going to
don't-
moralize, it would be that part.
I didn't feel like it was my responsibility to correct anybody on anything, for one thing. I
Why
wasn't spreading any rumor. And yeah, and I didn't care.
But that spills over into another human being, and it starts affecting their life.
Yeah, that's commonplace around here.
Okay, but I
And
thought
my
maybe you were an
experience-
exception.
And my experience is trying to correct any kind of rumor is pointless. Around here.
Seems like you kind of threw another person under the bus, and I
Why?
never thought you would do a thing like that
Why does it seem like that?
because you allowed this perception about her, and that was the part that she was upset about, and I can really understand that. I can understand, like, I don't think, all this business about, oh, well, why did she talk to him again, et cetera, et cetera. She keeps reiterating that's not the point. When the reason she came on was because, she comes back and here is this story. And you, by not saying anything, contributed to it.
See, I disagree with that.
He didn't even not say anything. He said there's lots of jizz. He literally said something to indicate that there was a sexual.
I made one
and then
comment.
corrected that no, not 20, 19.
Yeah, I
Right,
made one
right.
comment months and months ago, or however long ago it was.
Yeah, that's
Multiple
still a
comments.
comment. That's still not nothing, JJ.
He's such a
didn't say it was
liar. He
nothing.
said it last week. Come on. He said it last week.
But so it makes me worry. Like, suppose
I don't know
you
what
get
was
mad at
talking
me.
about.
Suppose you get mad at me, or you decide you don't like me. Then
Oh shit.
some kind of thing like that. You'd have no compunction. You'd just allow something like that to happen to me or anybody else if you decided you didn't like them.
That's commonplace around.
So yes.
It depends on what it is.
Okay.
Oof.
Man, wrecked.
I mean, it's not my
If-
job to correct people talking shit about people.
If it involves bringing down a server, all bets are off, Helena.
Yeah, Helena, if people think that you and him had cam
See,
sessions and they asked him about it,
here's
and then
another
he said there was a
issue.
lot of jizz involved.
So here's
That's not his
Actually, she has
responsibility to
blue
correct
eyes.
people's interpretations.
Here's
Right. It's not his responsibility to
no
correct
amount of correcting any rumor does any good around.
Well, actually, I think
false.
JJ's view on this is just compatible with yes, Helena and I cam fucked many times. Like, what does it even matter what he says, right? He thinks that
And
one,
I'm not-
it's pointless
and
to
it's
correct
not
him.
my-
Two, it's not him who said it, right? He's just agreeing, right? And
Right. You said it.
yeah, right. When
not
I
my-
said it,
not
when
my
you
re-
said yes, you guys have
and
fucked
it's-
many times on cam.
And it's not my responsibility to correct you. Prime example, Tom. You just said that. Should I correct you?
I'll correct you.
I mean, feel free.
Nothing like that ever happened.
And like I said, I don't think that I had to say anything
Yeah, I know. That's the part that bothers me.
for the rumor to have started.
Oh,
Especially
okay.
given
You mean
all
JJ
the other-
wasn't turned on at
all
your
the other, especially
your
given
reading?
all the other
Lots of
rumor
people.
mongering that had already gone on.
I look.
Do you hear what I'm
it's
saying?
I hear you. You're saying
Yeah.
people aren't careful when they listen to me. People don't understand that I have my own way of speaking, and that you've got to listen carefully when I talk and things like that. And I've noticed that about you for a long time, that you will answer in ways like that, and it's what you don't say that's important. I've noticed that about you. But this other thing is an additional thing I wish you would
What other
reconsider
thing?
about
other thing?
allowing the effect of your showing other people how they're the ones that are doing all the rumor spreading, and that you didn't contribute to that, allowing that to spill over and affect the lives of other people. I wish that you would consider drawing a line there, protecting other people who care about you or were close to you at one point at least, and not let it happen to others.
But they don't. This particular person didn't, and I didn't care. She's a complete asshole.
Yeah, I understand you don't care. I wish it wasn't like that. I hope that maybe you'll reconsider a little bit.
Well, I reconsidered her? No.
Reconsider doing that.
Reconsider what?
Throwing other people.
Say that. I knew he was going to say what?
Throwing other people under the bus for the sake of
I don't think
making the point about rumor spreading. I think it counts as throwing her under the bus.
I'm misunderstanding what you mean by that.
Okay. So as a byproduct of you neglecting to correct the narrative, and perhaps, what are we going to say, enhancing it, or at least not dampening it by saying, no, not 2019, and by saying the thing about jizz, let's just say there was a lot of jizz. You didn't just, that has an effect on the other person involved, and it's a negative effect. And you were in a position where you could have said, "Oh, look, guys, come on, let's look. I don't want you thinking that she cam sexed with me, because that didn't happen." That would have been, in my opinion, a good thing to do, because now there's another person entangled in this. I wish that you would reconsider.
I see what you're saying. You're saying I should have expected somebody to spread rumors based on some innocuous comments I made.
Yes.
Based on the insinuations that you clearly made. Yes. Insinuations that are clearly loaded, you should expect people to take those insinuations, JJ. And you know it. You're not unaware of this. You're not retarded in that way.
Doesn't it make you feel shitty that he's just lying to you like that, though, Helena? He's acting like he doesn't understand that.
No, he does. He's making a point that why should I cover for other people who say and do stupid things and make stupid conclusions? But the point is, you know ahead of time, JJ, that that's what's happening. In fact, that's part of the reason why you're acting this way, is to try to point out to people that they're the ones that are conjuring up stories and how shitty they are.
Yes.
But now in the lesson, you've hurt another person.
No, I did not. That's what I'm saying.
You did, though.
I am not responsible for that.
That's the part. Hold on. That's the part.
Claire, stop.
That's the part I'd like you to reconsider. I'd like you to consider that
I should take
by not taking,
for people spreading rumors.
I want you to reconsider the following. I want you to think about, I hope you will, by not doing something when you could have, that is tantamount to having done it. All right, so it's the omission. The omission is commission.
All right. Yeah. See, that's the discussion I wanted to have too.
Let's have it.
That's what Cam brought up.
Well, good, because it spills over in things like, pulling the plug or not pulling the plug, or just letting someone starve to death. I had to watch my brother-in-law die. It took hours because of this ridiculous passive killing is not killing bullshit. I think omission, I would hope that you would draw a line. You can do whatever you want to do as far as teaching people about jumping to conclusions and spreading rumors. But I would hope, and I did think this, that you would have never let it affect another person but in fact you did.
So, again, I probably would have felt differently with somebody else. And in fact, I do try to correct people with regards to people that I actually care about. But in this case, I really didn't care. She wasn't even around.
I know, but should whether or not you care about the person be the thing that guides what you do?
Yeah.
Couldn't you come up with a better principle? Like maybe a virtue ethic kind of principle? I'm not the kind of person who's going to shit on people.
Again, I wasn't shitting at anybody.
Well, but this is the omission-commission debate. I'd love to hear what Cam says, presuming that omission counts as commission. Wouldn't you want to be the kind of person who wouldn't do that? Who would protect others? If you could, and it would be, and it would mean it would be so easy. You just make a little side comment, and then you've done, if people jump to conclusions anyway, you can still prove your point about rumors.
I would admire such a person.
I mean, I think that I do that, but again, depends on who it is.
Okay.
I mean, where do you draw the line? What if it was Hitler? What you want
no, I do that, Helena, but I don't do it. Is exactly what he said.
Helena thinks that Hitler is an asset too.
Stop it, Jack. This is the very shit I'm talking about. Jack will just lie outright over and over.
Sorry, it was Mussolini. It was Mussolini. Sorry.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Would you feel the same thing if it was Hitler?
I don't think I'd ever can with Hitler. I can't imagine you got to give me a better analogy.
Mussolini.
Should I care enough about Hitler to correct the rumors? To correct the rumors about Hitler?
Well, I would think that if Hitler's that bad, you wouldn't need to rely on false stories.
No, there's no evidence that Hitler was a homosexual. Don't say that.
I don't know if there's no evidence.
What are we talking about now?
So we found out that Helena would rather Cam was Hitler than JJ now.
Oh
my God!
Helena is dodging the question
Don't let
through humor.
Jack derail it.
Actually.
What question? I'm not dodging a question. My point is that if she's that bad, you don't need false stories to propagate how bad she is. That you ought not, use fake stories.
I didn't use them.
Well, but let's have the omission commission conversation.
Oh, come on now.
Cam, I'm sorry to have been harsh with you. I know you didn't know it, but you were like the fifth person who was stopping JJ and I.
I think he knows that.
No, I only just joined, and I apologize for interrupting Helena.
That's all right. Well, let's talk about commission omission, because I think there's a serious problem with going, it's not my responsibility. At least when there's another person directly involved. I would think that we might want to think it is our responsibility.
Rebuttal, JJ?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes I feel the urge to correct things. But again, in my experience, sometimes it's pointless.
The thing is,
in this community.
Because he actually cared about her when those things were being started. So you can't say it was simply because he didn't care about her. That's not true. Because he cared about her when those stories were being started.
That's not true. It's not true.
It is true.
You didn't even care about her when you were acting as her confidant.
Jovan doesn't know what he's talking about.
So you never cared about her.
No, Jovan just doesn't know what he's talking
about.
Okay. I think you're making a critical error here, Helena, in believing that any of this had anything to do with him trying to teach people a lesson about assumptions. He just enjoyed the social cachet of the notion that he's able to seduce young women who are attractive.
Well, that could have been
one of the only forms of social cachet he has.
That was already
whatever he can.
That was already a rumor.
Yeah, there was exactly that was what I was saying. There was much talk about you two when you still cared about it, when you were still in constant contact with her. And you let
There-
that talk go through, didn't you?
You cashed
There
in
was
on it.
much.
Is what you did.
There was what talk?
You intentionally provoked
When you
that
say there was
rumor
much talk,
and furthered
no,
it because
you're
you
also
wanted people to think
incorrect.
you're sleeping with the girl, or well, camming with the girl.
Also incorrect.
Yeah, I
That
like.
was-
I like how JJ thinks that. I agree with Claire, but I also think it's crazy that JJ thinks that he couldn't have, like, no one would have believed him. Like, how could he have ever gotten anyone to believe that, like, you know, this 50-year-old got like hot cam sex with this 19-year-old girl from the ACA server? That was just like something that nobody, you know. I mean, he couldn't have squashed that rumor. It was just everyone would just had their heart set on believing him. It was just.
So
He
as
couldn't
far
have
as
simply said, "I wish," and that would have been the squash right
Yeah,
there.
pretty much. It's like, guys, I mean, look, I mean, honestly, if I had done that, don't you think I would want to tell you? I mean, come on, look, I wish it were true, guys, but it wasn't. It's not. Sorry.
You can
My
talk
legend
about
will.
the
as far as the Casanova thing, there can be multiple causes or reasons, and maybe one of them's a byproduct, and maybe the one that's a byproduct is this idea of teaching a lesson or something like that. But I know that does bother JJ, how people so quickly jump to conclusions.
Did you see the messages he sent her?
No.
Telling her that she's just lying about everything, that she needs to get her story straight, that she's the one with the problems, and that's okay. He'll accept her back basically if she just changes her story.
Jovan is still confused.
Let me post them for you.
well, we can talk about like what people believe more easily.
She posted these too, so it's
People-
Sorry,
What
Sean.
we need to do is ask JJ how it is that Jovan is confused, so he can explain things.
He's mischaracterized what these messages are, which are from 2 days ago, by the way.
People believe more easily things that people say that would be embarrassing to them. So it's like if there's a rumor that I have a 10-inch dick, and then I come and say, "No, guys, my dick is 4 inches," and that's like embarrassing. So people will be more readily able to believe that if I'm saying that. Just like if JJ is saying that people wouldn't have believed it if he tried to correct the rumor, and the correction is, "No, I didn't cam fuck her. I just masturbated without her consent." Yeah, people are gonna believe that more easily than him saying, "Yeah, I cam fucked her."
Argument from embarrassment.
Yes, let me take my bow.
I think it's obvious that when he says it's difficult, what he means is like it's just too much work. He's too lazy, not that it would be like impossible or something like that.
He's too lazy. That's great. All right, that's it.
You should go ahead and address Jovan, Helena. Let's get it out of the way.
So, okay, what do you want me to say to Jovan?
I think he wanted you
JJ
to
was
say
saying.
something.
Oh,
No, I
go
just
ahead,
posted
Jovan.
it so she could see them.
Oh, I haven't read them.
I
I'll
already
read
said
them.
what I needed to say about them.
I'll read them in just a second. In fact,
Yeah, that's fine. You can read them whenever you feel like it.
I'm going to go grab a glass of water. I'll be right back, though.
Yeah, I think Helena knows the moral of this.
It's like reading Mein Kampf.
Yeah. And that was a good one, Jack.
What? It's fun to do, but you wouldn't want your friends to see it?
It's just
That was a
it's
good
like
one,
entering into into the mind of evil. Right? Like a diabolical mind.
Oh, Jackie Savage!
Yeah, Jack. Yeah, you tell him. Jack, that was a great point. Can you make another one?
I want to give a shout out.
Oh, there we go. Go ahead, Jack. You do it.
I want to give a shout out to my friend Josh and Justin
And Vic. Remember that, Jack? I was like, after they did it, they
What
had
server
it.
was that in?
That was in Thonk, remember?
Oh, Thonk. God, that's taking me back.
Yeah. And I came in there and I was like, I would like to give a shout out to my friends Justin, Jack, and This guy's like a gyroscope. He doesn't know up from down.
yeah.
But a gyroscope does know up from down. That's what it's used for.
No.
The very point of a gyroscope.
No, this is what I said. I said, this guy's just like a gyroscope. He keeps going up, down, left, and right. He can't stay on. No. How did I put it? Yeah, I think that's what I said.
No, you said he doesn't know up from down. Like, yeah, you fucked up a little there.
Yeah, I was just, yeah. It was still funny nonetheless.
You see what Mary Jane posted? Like, you know you fucked up when your girl pulls those out.
Yeah, he's done for. They're in color, too.
Oh, that's
It's just
funny.
like, oh, shit. She didn't even do it black and white.
I didn't realize what that was.
She's just mad that they were on Android.
The stupid hole on Android, bitch.
I like
You're
the
gonna cheat,
nuance.
at least
that
do it
they're
with
in
green
color.
text.
They're in color. Like glossy. She even paid for the staple
Right.
mechanically.
Why is Mary Jane laughing at that?
I think Mary Jane did that.
I think she's been drinking or she's.
I thought that was
Oh.
Mary Jane in the picture.
Hey, JJ looks like she's
What
ready
the
to go. Looks like Mary Jane's about ready to go private.
Wait, what is this? What's happening?
Mary Jane doesn't
She's gotta
smoke
be
weed
high.
anymore. No,
That's
Jack,
what it
Mary Jane
was.
doesn't smoke weed.
JJ was just misunderstanding what they meant by private. All those cams.
There you go. It's not a private call. It's the context.
Wait, Yuri, what did you say?
He said that
Oh, you
JJ
don't,
misunderstood.
I was joking with Jack, and I said that you don't smoke weed anymore. You told me that you didn't smoke. You stopped
Oh
smoking.
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
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 Cause
Marijuana
smoke
is
is like
vegan.
bad for the environment and.
Yeah, I don't want to set plants on fire anymore.
JHC in the live
Just
chat.
vaporize them and put them back in the ground.
He made a request for Helena to talk about jizz again.
We'll get there.
GHC did? Oh,
Yeah.
I miss you so
I am
much.
back, John. Joe.
Yeah. We have a topic request from JHC from the live chat. Thank you.
Oh, are we live?
Wait,
Of
wait,
course
wait.
we're live.
Where's this live? Wait, can I see
Are we
this?
live?
Someone
Let's
post
just
it.
say there was a lot of jizzing involved.
Oh my god, GHC. Where is this link? I need to go talk to GHC in live chat.
You can just click on my profile and go to the YouTube, and it should be one in there.
I just posted it in the general chat, but then I was worried that I would like ruin time or something.
Thank you so much.
Like right now, it's YouTube Live Inception.
It's great. God, what were we talking about before you left, Helen? You're gonna answer a question or something?
I don't think so. I think I was done. I just hope JJ would reconsider. That's all.
Yeah, JJ likes to speak like he's fucking, you know, like George R.R. Martin writes fucking prophecies and shit, you know? Drew, what does Sultan Smoke mean? Well, I didn't actually say that it's from the ocean, durr. I meant baking a cake and like an oven fire, huh? It's just like, what the fuck, man? Like,
I mean, Preston Jacobs doesn't even believe there are no prophecies anymore. JJ, Jesus.
Oh shit.
Well, he's
get wrecked.
elaborated on what's meant by it. And
So
sadly,
JJ
he's just continuing with his fixing season 8. But what?
So JJ had told us that when he said there was a lot of jizz involved, Helena, he said that he was trying to get us to think that he meant that he was secretly masturbating. Do you believe that?
No.
Do you believe that I said that, Helena?
I don't think JJ believes it either.
Do you
Oh, you
believe
said
I
that,
s-
JJ.
Do you believe that I said that, Helena?
I didn't hear you say it.
Do you
You
believe?
probably said something.
Do you believe-
Probably
you
not.
clear it
You
up,
probably
man?
said something more vague.
Yeah. Very, very astute, Helen.
So people just need to remember to ask you what you mean, because you say vague things to like mark the beginning of a conversation.
Or Helena,
but people don't.
alternatively, maybe JJ shouldn't be like a complete piece of shit and obfuscate and actually communicate in a way that's effective.
Well, that's another alternative.
This guy's speaking he's speaking in parables like Jesus.
Like,
well, yeah, exactly.
Just a quick reminder that this is live, so please watch the language.
Oh, thank you.
I think
He doesn't know up or
Don't
down.
say
like
Jesus.
like a gyroscope.
Jesus seems like maybe the wrong person to compare JJ.
What, like Aesop, maybe?
I mean, Jesus wouldn't destroy 40 servants.
Oh, and by the way, Helena, JJ said when we asked about you, he said, "Really, who hasn't masturbated to Helena?"
Oh, well, I appreciate that, JJ.
That's a big compliment.
We all
Wait,
know
what did I
Jack
say?
has.
What? I didn't hear
Oh
that.
God.
I'm doing it right now.
Nice one, Jack.
Oh crap! I'm missing my opportunity.
What do you
Better
think?
get on that.
Yeah, gotta do it quick. Gotta go fast.
Yes, ma'am.
JJ, that sounds like consent.
So what do you think about the dentist thing, Helena?
I don't know the dentist thing. What
Okay,
is
so
the
this
dentist
we started
thing?
talking more, and then we started talking about a dentist who puts
For fuck's sake.
puts a patient under, and JJ said that if the dentist puts them under and then masturbates looking at their body, like over them, he's fine with that.
What do you mean by fine with that, JJ?
I don't really think there's anything wrong with that.
I love JJ, man.
I mean, what did you expect?
How do you
I
say
can't
this
think
shit with
of-
a straight face?
I can't think of anything that would really be wrong about Can
kinda
somebody
Here's
tell
what's
me?
wrong with it. I can tell you what's wrong with it.
Oh, well,
You can't allow that kind
nobody
of
else then. Nobody else has even offered to say what's wrong with it, Helena. Good
You
job
can't
for
allow
you.
that kind of a thing to become a regular norm in a society, right? So it's
Why?
easy to imagine if one dentist did it one time, okay, no harm. But the reason you don't want them doing it is because if every dentist were allowed to do that, then women wouldn't go to the dentist.
No, but they are allowed to.
Yeah, I don't get this tooth fixed, but I don't want the dentist masturbating over me.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
going
but
to the dentist
Helena,
is some sort
Helena,
of
Helena,
trick
who's
now for
stopping them?
men.
Helena, who's stopping them?
Well, they stop themselves, JJ, because they are conscientious towards others.
Professionalism?
What's the conscientiousness here?
I just explained it to you. You
Towards-
don't want to start doing something where if you imagine the whole society allowed it, it would cause a lot of problems for half the society.
She's basically just repeating Kant's categorical.
So this is just
I thought it was more of a Rawls kind of thing.
So you're operating on the myth that all dentists don't do this.
No, I didn't
You're
say
operating
all.
on it. Well, I don't know. Then what do you want to say? Most?
Not
Some?
all, not all. Hashtag.
It's possible that all dentists are doing this.
At the very least,
You
I
realize
doubt
that,
the
right?
female dentists are doing it.
Well, you
because
can doubt that.
you
but
know,
it's
there's
very-
not a
it's
whole lot about a
possible-
man's.
It's certainly possible that even the
What do you
female
mean? There's
dentists
no
are doing
logical
this.
contradiction? Is that what you
Put
mean?
the
by
patient out.
possible?
Put the patient out, and you don't know. Nobody knows. Maybe they are all doing that.
Well, there are video cameras and things there now, JJ.
Oh,
at the
well.
very least, it's a lie. It's dishonesty. Wouldn't you admit?
Well, here's the thing, Helena. So JJ likes to tie the right and wrongness of it to like an epistemic thing. So, but here's the weird part is that when we say, okay, well, now this person knows about it, is it wrong? He goes, I don't know.
Well, I said I can't think of why it would be wrong now. After
So then in what sense is it okay because they don't know about it? If when they know about it, you don't know if it's wrong.
Yeah, I don't understand what
Well, you're saying that it's okay if they don't know about it. So what if she finds out? Was it then wrong?
As in you tell them afterwards?
Doesn't matter. They know. They find out.
I think that matters, but maybe not.
So you think it might not matter?
See, this is what I don't understand. He's like, oh, it matters if they know. And then we say, okay, they know, now what? And he's like, oh, I don't know. What is this? Is this real? Is this real life?
Help him think it through.
This is crazy.
It's not his responsibility about that rumor.
He's like Bill Clinton during his like sex charges.
There
What does
is
this
no
mean?
relationship.
So this is what happened is what with the girl victim, right? He said he was trying to use the defense. Well, it's okay if she doesn't know about it. And I said, well, she knows about it now. Is it wrong? And he says, I don't know.
Might be wrong now that she knows.
Bill JJ, is it wrong now? She knows.
I don't know.
How do you not know?
What do you mean you don't know, though? Tell us about that.
I mean, it doesn't seem like it.
Why would it not seem like it? It goes against your own logic. She knows.
I don't think it does. Something about it being after the fact, maybe? I don't know.
Just
Does
feels.
this mean
It just feels, right?
Does this mean that JJ is a super?
I don't think you're real, JJ.
Look, I'll take this moment to make a public service announcement to make it very clear that Talon Boxes trademark does not condone any of the moral monstrosities that JJ has done. We publicly condemn him, and that's all.
I think JJ is transgender.
What?
Well, it might explain some of his views.
What? Abort,
told me-
chum, abort.
He told me he was gender fluid, actually.
JJ said he
what's
was
being-
gender fluid?
Yeah.
I'm glad JJ didn't
non-binary,
become a
gender
dentist.
fluid, something like that. I don't know. Damn it! What was I gonna say?
Is JJ enjoy?
It seems weird to say that it was wrong then, now that she knows about it.
Yeah, that's what
That's
Tom's
what-
telling you.
That's what I'm trying to wrap my head around. I don't see, that doesn't make any sense to me. How could it be wrong then because she knows that it happened now?
Well, you think it might be wrong now that she knows. So what is it about
No, I don't
that
know. That's what
makes
I'm-
you think?
That it's not?
Well, what makes you think it could be wrong now that she knows?
Nothing.
And maybe that thing is the same
Nothing.
thing that happens when she doesn't know.
So you do know whether or not it's wrong or not. You're saying it's still not wrong.
I can't think of anything is what I said. I said, I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Well, what about my society thing? That should be enough right there.
I don't know what you mean by your society thing. Because you can't let that happen? So
if
I don't
if it were completely not considered wrong.
to be
right?
fair, we're not
that would
talking
mean
about
that
the dentist thing.
if we aren't? Oh, I thought we were
Well,
still talking about
Well,
or
I guess we could
masturbating
be.
under the table could be the same. Let's just, if you want to
Right.
change it to masturbating under the table,
Well,
that's
I mean,
fine.
Yeah,
No?
sure, same thing. I guess that's fine. We can still talk about it.
Well, let me ask you something, Helena. So,
There we go.
well, she's raising an interesting point, right? So, like, a girl has just gone under euthanasia, right? And
she's dead.
Sorry, not euthanasia.
She
She's
was
gone.
really, really sad.
No, the point is.
And now she's
right?
dead. Okay, go on.
Well,
A
wouldn't
really
that, I mean,
sad girl is now dead from
but
euthanasia. Go on.
You would object to JJ masturbating to a corpse too, right? Like you'd feel like that was some kind of violation, right?
Well, it's not really on an individual look. You just kind of have to be a little bit more flexible. They're going to be the occasional weirdo or creepy guy, right? You don't want to come down hard on them, but you don't want it to be a normal norm in the society, because then it just runs rampant and it's too threatening.
Yeah, but see, I don't understand this. The point is, like, it's not. If that didn't happen, you're saying it would be okay.
Yeah, you would have. I think it would probably be. It would be a shame, but not anything to make a huge deal out of.
A shame in virtue of what, though?
Well, because if the family found out, they would probably really not like it. There are people who think that dead bodies should be respected, because there's something about the soul. All of those complications are real.
Yeah, but like if some woman were to confess to a guy some horrible trauma she was under, right, and then he suddenly got aroused by it, like he just thought there was something really sexually exciting about a girl like weeping in front of him, right?
I hope you're not speaking from personal experience, but go on.
Well, but the point is, should somebody that's something that she could find out, right? In theory, right? He could tell her. He could note it down in his diary, and she could find the diary, right? Or he could tell somebody
he could tell her a little
else
later. When you were telling me that story about your trauma, I was turned on. Yeah, so.
Yeah, but the point is, she would be upset. She could very well be upset to learn that.
Yeah.
But is that any different from being upset to learn that somebody was like jerking off while they were talking to you on the telephone?
Is it any different? I think you just described the same exact scenario. So
Yeah, but all these are the same, right? So if in fact you've put them under, right, and let's say you're not neglecting your duties as a dentist in any way, right? Like it's not as though maybe there's like some pause, before you can operate or so on, right? And so you pull out your cock and start jerking off, right? Why is that any different from the other cases?
I explained to you the reason that you don't want that to become a norm in the society is because on a societal level, on a mass scale, it's going to cause all kinds of problems.
Is the person doing it, right, isn't contributing to it being a norm because nobody else knows that they're doing it.
Yes, but you're misunderstanding my point. There's a reason, and the reason is that you don't want, at least I don't, and I would assume even the masturbating dentist doesn't, because he's going to have daughters and things, want the society as it is now to be one where, you can't go to a dentist.
But why should that affect him, right? If he's not actually doing something that contributes to bringing that about.
That's why I say for these weird exceptional people like maybe you, where you have this moral theory about if it helps me achieve my aim, it is the thing to do, then I have reason to do it. For people like that, we don't want to make too big of a deal out of them.
I'm not
just telling you,
that view, right?
I have a flexible view, right? It's going to happen probably every once in a while. You don't want to make a huge deal out of it. It's just like the woman. Her thing was not about the masturbating. It was about
No,
him.
Jack is granting you. Jack is granting you the position that he doesn't want all dentists to masturbate onto female subjects when they're out on the table. But any particular dentist masturbating to a woman on the table isn't going to cause any other dentist to do so. So why should he? It's not contradictory for him for that to not want to be like a norm, and for him to continue doing so.
So you could
I granted that at the very
say,
beginning. I don't know why we're repeating
I
it.
don't think you're understanding. See, you could say, I just think that there's something wrong with doing this, right? But that's not what you're saying. You're saying that it's not wrong in itself, right? It's wrong because if everybody were to do it, that would be bad, right?
It would cause a lot of problems, yeah.
Yeah, but the point is, why would we say that it was wrong in that given case when you're saying that the only reason why it's wrong is if everybody were to do it, that would be bad?
Because that is what's wrong about it. Like I said, you just kind of look the other way in the individual freak cases, in my opinion. There isn't anything wrong in and of itself.
But the point is, if doing it isn't going to contribute to that state of affairs, I don't understand what the objection. You're saying
Well, that's
it
a
would be
presumption.
bad. You're saying it would be bad if everybody did it. Okay, let's grant that for the sake of argument, right? Now, if somebody does it and it doesn't contribute to that state of affairs, right? Doesn't help bring that state of affairs about, right? Which we're granting for the sake of argument is bad, right? Then what's the objection?
You just took away my objection, so what am I going to say?
But I just don't understand what your objection was in the first place.
I don't know what to tell you. We're just repeating ourselves now.
But that's saying that it's bad in itself. And that's not what Helena was saying. She's saying it's bad because it would be bad if everybody were to do it.
Because there are people, the majority of the society, in fact, where like you've got parents who don't want their children to be masturbated to while they're sleeping, for example.
I understand, right, that you could say that it's bad to do that, right? But that's not what you were saying. You're saying
there
it's
are
not
the
bad
majority
to do
of
it.
people. The majority of people in our society think it's bad.
What difference does that make?
That's why you don't want it to become a norm.
I'm granting, for the sake of argument, we don't want it to become a norm, right? So that's to say that if everybody were to do it, that would be bad, right? Now we're imagining a case where somebody does it, right? And we're also imagining that it doesn't contribute causally to it being a norm, becoming a norm, right? Because no one knows about it. So what's the objection then?
I don't know why you think I have an objection.
But you were saying to JJ, you shouldn't do that because that's the kind of thing that if everybody were to do, it would be bad.
I'm upset at JJ for the way he didn't correct anybody
So this is
about
the
that
other issue.
woman's
See,
participation.
Yeah,
we
but
keep
that
going back and forth on the different issues.
Yeah, but I was talking about the dentist case, right? You were
I've
saying to
already
JJ,
explained the dentist case.
I thought you were saying that that would be bad, right, for JJ to do because
If I were
it
a
would
dentist.
be bad. Yeah, because you're saying that it would be bad for him to do that because if everybody were to do it, that would be a bad thing, right? Like, that's the categorical imperative, right? But then what's the point of bringing up the case that if everybody were to do it, it would be a bad thing? She's just saying that it's bad to do it at all. If it's bad to do it at all, you don't need to say, yeah, it would be bad if everybody did it.
It's
right? That's
societal.
only interesting.
Like, so
That's
me
only
personally,
interesting.
I'm much more flexible than most people, right? So it'd be very easy for me to just look the other way. It's creepy, right? From my perspective. But there are, and it's yeah. But for most of the people in this society, they find it very objectionable. Just like they find, desecrating a dead body very objectionable. So that's the reason, Jack. That's it.
I don't
simple
get it.
as that. Well, that's
No,
okay.
Look. What if you thought that it was bad for somebody to do it? You wouldn't need to say, the reason not to do it is because if everybody were to do it, that would be a bad thing. You could just say it's a bad thing to do.
I just explained that. On a societal level,
Is
the majority of
nobody
people in our
understanding?
the majority
is nobody understanding the objection that I'm making to what Helena is saying? Am I just misinterpreting her? I just don't get it. Right? Either you think that it's bad in itself, right? Or you think it's only bad if it becomes generalized, right? Because that's Kant's point, right? He's saying, look,
I thought I explained it, but then you said I was wrong, so fuck you.
I didn't say you were wrong. I was saying Helena was wrong. I thought you understood what I was saying.
I think all Jack is saying is it seems to be that you're saying it's wrong in virtue of whether or not if it's gonna be bad for society if everyone does it. But then you're trying to say that that's not the case.
When did I say it's not the case?
When you say something like, "No, I don't think it's," hold on, I just lost what I was thinking.
So she's saying it's bad, but not that bad if a few people do it. But it would be like just horrible if everybody were doing it. Is that the idea? But what's the point of mentioning that if she just thinks it's bad? Well, because what I understood her to be saying was the reason why it's wrong to do it is because if everybody did it, that would be horrible.
Right.
But that's clearly not it, right? If you think...
I think that's what she said.
But why not just say, I think that's a bad thing to do? What's the point of saying... No, but my point is that what she gave as the reason for why it was wrong was because if everybody did it, that would be really bad.
Because I was trying to help JJ come up with an understanding for why he might not do it.
How does that help?
Like, what could the dentist think to himself? He could think, well, if I do this, does it, I want this to be something that everybody does out in the open, like it's a good? And if you think, if everybody did this out in the open like it's a good, there would be negative consequences or something like that, then I probably ought not do it. Even
I don't
even
follow
if
that reasoning
nobody
at
would
all.
ever.
I
even
don't
if
follow
nobody
that
would ever
reasoning,
find out,
but I
because I
don't
don't want to
follow
be the
that
kind of
reasoning.
person who, because I don't want to be the kind of person who would do something like that. Something
Wait
like
a
that.
minute. I don't.
I think he's
look,
asking
I
you to
just
establish how it's wrong, though, right? Like, you could drink a glass of water, and like a million people could drink a glass of water, and like statistically,
Oh, Iron's back, guys. Let me ban him. Hold on. I got him.
statistically
Hold on.
some kind of
No,
improvement
no,
risk
no,
if
no,
many
no.
people drink water versus if one does it, right? So, like, what about the action is bad that makes it the case that if multiple people did it, there's more risk? And you said something like it offends people or something like that, right?
Yeah, society. This current society finds it very objectionable, and there's all kinds of complicated historical reasons for that.
no, but I'm still. But the reasoning doesn't make any sense that you're giving, right? It just doesn't follow.
You're trying to. Oh, okay, fine. I don't care about
I
that.
think
You're
I get
trying to
what.
pin me on saying that you think I think it's bad, period. And I'm just saying I've never said that, and I don't think it's bad, period.
Well, I
Right?
think what
It's
he's saying
only
is
bad
not
in its
persuasive.
context.
It's not persuasive to that person, right? Because if you were to tell me, look, what you're doing would be bad if everybody did it, then I could just say, well, everybody's not doing it, so it's not bad for me to do it.
Yeah,
Well,
my
that's
doing
right.
it
And there are a
doesn't
lot of
contribute to it.
there are some people who do think like that, and for those people,
Well, I think.
you know, you
But that's
just
all
look
that
the
Jack's
other way.
point is that given.
Well, if that's all his
but he's just
point,
saying
I've
that what
already
you
made
said
that
is
point.
irrelevant almost to what they're doing, right? You're saying that something else is bad, not what they're doing.
I'm trying to give the dentist who's curious as to whether or not it would be okay that he masturbates to the female patients that he's knocked out a reason not to do it.
Yeah, but how are you giving them a reason? You're either saying, right, it's just wrong to do it, right? Or you're saying, if you do it, that will causally contribute to everybody doing it, which we can all agree is bad, right? But you're not saying either of those things. You're saying it's just wrong to do it because if everybody did it, that would be bad. Even though him doing it doesn't cause that to happen.
Yeah,
that doesn't make any sense.
You want to, well, it relies on you imagining that you want to participate in a kind of society that you want to exist. Now, maybe that's not appealing to some people, but I think most people, it might give them pause.
Something like,
Like a sociopath would go, well, what do I give a rat's ass about? I can get away with it because it's just me. Okay, fine. I don't think JJ's that kind of person, though.
well, I'm trying to understand this. So the idea is something kind of like, if I were
I
to
really doubt you're
imagine-
trying to understand it.
I don't understand.
Of course you don't, JJ.
I just used the JJ metric. I'm switching sides.
I objected, right, because I thought there was an invalid inference that was being made, right? And it seems like something you said, maybe there is a way that I could make sense of that, right? Which is the idea that if somebody thought that if everybody did it, that would be wrong, right? But they thought, well, I'm not bringing that about. So therefore, I shouldn't actually care one way or another about doing it in this situation, right? But you're saying something like, if I were to imagine that type of world, right, and realize that I wouldn't want to live in that world in some way by doing this, right, I'm actually inhabiting the world that I don't want to live in. Is that?
Isn't it odd to say that if you think that it'd be wrong if every person does it, then you ought not do it, because you can think of, like, I can think it's wrong. It'd be bad if every single person was the president. But that doesn't mean I ought not be the president, right?
See, like Kant was trying to say something like, if you lie in an individual instance, but generally tell the truth, right? That might not seem so bad, right? But if everybody were to lie, there'd be chaos, right? And so he thought that there was some way that you could go from the individual case to the general case, right? He could say that if it's wrong in the general case, right, then it's wrong in the individual case. But it just seems like an illegitimate inference. Why, if it's the case that if everybody lied, society would be unlivable, should it be wrong for somebody to lie in some individual instance? Unless you thought that one would bring about the other situation, right? But that's not what Kant says. He doesn't say, yeah, if one person lies, that's likely to bring about a world in which everybody lies all the time, which we clearly don't want, right? That's not how he argues for the categorical imperative, right? He just seems to think that there's some way in which you're contradicting your own commitment to not wanting to live in a world where everybody's lying all the time, if you lie even once. And that just seems illegitimate. But I thought maybe Helena was coming at something that might actually have some legitimacy, which
I
is
don't
this
think you
idea.
create. You said something about inhabiting a world. I don't think you inhabit a world if you do it. That seems kind of weird.
Well, the idea is that you're somehow consenting, right, to being part of the world that you don't really want to live in by doing those kinds of things. And if you actually don't do it, even though you could get away with it, and even though it wouldn't cause that other world to exist if you did it, right? Nonetheless, you're somehow like violating your commitment to wanting to live in that other world, right? That's the idea that I thought that maybe you could be getting at, which seems to me like maybe there is something that might be plausible. But I don't know if that's what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to work with you because, you see yourself as this exception. If you're the kind of person who,
I'm not
the
talking
fact
about
that,
me.
let me just finish. If you're the kind of person for whom the fact that one individual doing something doesn't change the whole world matters more than how can I think through whether or not I ought to do this one particular action based on imagining a world where it was the norm. It's going to seem bizarre to you.
Yeah, it's not about me, right? It's about sort of like what the reasoning is. And I offered a reconstruction of the reasoning that I thought you might have been behind what you were saying. But I just don't know if that's capturing what you're
It's
saying.
close. I don't think that I think that I'm inhabiting a world.
Well,
It's more about
I
the imagination.
I rephrased it, right? So what I said was, there's a certain type of world you want to live in, and I said there's a certain type of world you want to live in, and there's a certain type of world you don't want to live in, right? And what I was imagining was that even if you could get away with doing this thing, which if everybody did it, would not be a world you'd want to live in, right? Even though you could get away with it, and even though you doing it wouldn't cause that world to come into being, that other world you don't want to live in to come into being. Nonetheless, by refraining from doing it, you're somehow committing to the world you do want to live in rather than the world you don't want to live in.
Right. Or you're living more true to yourself. You could say it that way if you wanted.
Yeah, okay. I think that might be okay. I mean, I'm not sure if that works or not, but at least it isn't prima facie to me incoherent.
All right.
Yeah, I don't
JJ.
know. Luckily, I'm not a dentist.
JJ,
Yeah.
you're a moral monster.
I don't think so. Or at least not that you know of.
Yeah, can we circle this back to crapping on JJ, please?
Yeah. Lost a lot of time there.
I agree.
So let's try to put it into practice with JJ. JJ, do you want a world where any man can just pull it out and
Yes.
start wanking during
Yes, he
any
does.
conversation?
Yeah.
Of course he does.
He's very much.
I don't know if that would be that bad, but here's the thing: is that I'm not inclined to do that, right? But
What are you
just
talking
in the
about?
same way,
Have you not been paying it? Have you not been here for the last 3 days?
yeah, and that was actually
He's not inclined to do it because he's not a dentist.
Have you
That's
not
the
heard all the
only
things you've been
reason.
saying?
No, he asked a different question.
that's no use.
I'm listening.
Oh, sorry, JJ.
Oh, sorry.
We could talk in private about it later.
No, I don't think I'm going to be busy.
You don't have to wash your hair for me.
What's wrong? What happened in the conversation with Helena, JJ? Let's just say there's a lot of jizzing involved.
There might be. Maybe.
Maybe.
It's possible.
Would you feel the need to correct rumors if they were about someone like Helena?
It's hard to say.
So it does depend on whether
Is it?
But that depends on what the rumor was, I guess.
that you guys cam fucked and there's a lot of jizzing involved.
Hold on, why would it depend on what the rumor is?
Same rumor.
But like, it shouldn't depend on what the rumor is.
Well, I mean, it might. Like, if it's something that's not severe, he might decide it's not worth it. But the example is the same.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I was going to say, it rumored that Helena said that Jack was wrong in the conversation, but she really meant that she wasn't convinced. Like,
Okay,
you
I
might
guess
not
that's
need to correct
fair,
that
but I meant
rumor.
like a serious rumor arises, it shouldn't really matter what it is.
A serious rumor?
Yes.
Like, what's a serious rumor?
Oh my god, dude.
Like the same thing you did. Same level. Same level of seriousness.
Look,
the
almost
same
too
thing.
much turns on this.
Well, I don't think JJ thinks it was very serious, so you kind of.
I'm sorry for confusing your feeble mind, JJ.
What?
Yeah, but the idea is that he would be. It's just, I mean, it's not really totally dependent on what he cares about. he's also concerned about what that person cares about.
Well, it is dependent on what he cares about, because it's whether or not he cares about what they care about.
Yeah. But the point is that he gives thought to what they care about. Right, JJ?
I'm sorry, what?
Oh,
I zoned out as soon as somebody started talking over me.
Oh, God, you know what? That's it. JJ, you are now no longer a Taoist.
Yeah.
I got my eye on you.
Just the one?
Yeah, I'm eating.
Honestly, if I heard somebody start spreading some rumor that Helen and I had cam sex, I would laugh, thinking it was a joke. But I mean, depending on how far it went, if it continued,
Was it a joke when
I would
Helen and I
definitely-
had cam sex?
Yeah, and it's not perceived as a joke by them. Like this is...
JJ Psychosis,
man.
JJ, you weren't even interrupted then. Tom, repeat yourself.
No,
Yeah, there's no point. What?
just he doesn't want to engage, so repeating myself isn't going to make him want to engage. You know, he just wants to... fuck
I
around.
was interrupted, actually. What happened?
Not that time.
No, I was.
Just wants to fuck around.
Screw you.
What's Tom saying?
We're just like, bam him, please.
Do you guys think the actual photon from millions of light years away is the same one that hits your eye when you look out at the galaxy? I don't think that's it. I think it's a wave kind of thing. I don't think it's that actual photon travels all that distance. Do we know the answer to that?
Why wouldn't you think it
What does
travels
that-
all that
what does that
distance?
even mean?
Do you mean like it's
Because if in
dispersed?
fact dark matter is really compact, real matter, then it could just be a wave, right? It could be. No, I'm really not trolling. It could just be, you know, it
That's
shifts
what trolls
through.
say.
JHC
It
is
shifts
starting
through.
a rumor in the YouTube chat. Just saying.
It shifts through
I wanna
all the
hear what
dark
she
matter.
says.
It shifts
really
through all the
stoned. I need
dark
to hear this.
matter. It shifts through all the dark matter, literally like a wave. So it bumps into the next one, 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 till it gets to your eye.
Do you have any like theory or
Why don't you
anything?
think that the particle travels that far?
Did you just shush me?
Because we have all
Everybody.
this dark matter, right? So just seems. I'm just curious if we actually do know the answer to that yet, or if that's still a speculation.
Well, there's no such thing as particles.
Or everything's particles.
No, it's all fields.
Yeah, I don't think Helena.
Same thing.
It's points and fields, not particles.
Same thing.
What do you mean there's no particles?
What's a
When you-
field? What is a
when-
field
when you
other
reduce-
than just a
when
whole
you
bunch
reduce-
of particles? Really, really
when you
close
reduce
together.
particles down to their most essential makeup, which is quarks, none of those quarks have mass. They're just points. They're one dimensional.
Well, it would have to be a different conception of matter, right? It wouldn't mean it has to have mass necessarily. Turns out there's all kinds of things that seem to not really have mass, although in fact they have a little bit of mass.
Well, the issue is it appears that quarks don't have any mass, and quarks make everything, so nothing has mass. I mean, they're trying to nail down the Higgs boson
I was
as
quit
an
trying to lose
explanation
weight.
as an explanation for mass, but they haven't done everything they need to do to make that like a sound law like
I'm pretty sure they all have mass, though.
right. You just can't explain why. That's the point.
Anyway, does anyone know if we know this or not?
Know which thing?
The original question.
Well, if a
about-
photon bumps into something, it might like get absorbed into like the atom, and then it would either re-emit or just stay absorbed, and then there might create like an absorption or an emission spectrum when you look at the star. But I would think like the photon just comes all the way, like the ones that
Seems
you see
awfully
when you
crowded.
look at the star.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd like to know if we know or not.
Just Google it.
So are you saying that the star that we see in the sky might not even exist? Could it might have exploded or something, or whatever stars do?
Oh, I think we already know
Because
that.
then what is it you're asking? If it's the exact photon that was originally
Emitted. Right. Or if it could just be sort of a wave kind of a thing. You know those little toys where you have these silver balls? They're like 3 silver balls, and you clack one, and it's transferred through the stationary ones and comes out the energy gets shot on sort of a model of our model of kinetic, and so that's kind of a wave. What's going on there? I'm just wondering if, with all this crowded dark matter, do we know whether it's that actual photon? Because it seems like it could just be a kind of a wave action.
Well,
And then that would kind of explain the universe in a way. Perhaps, maybe. I don't know. I was just curious if we know or not.
Well, our resident dark matter expert, Sugar's Poison, is not here currently, so.
I'll go with wave.
But if it would be bad,
I have a feeling it's a wave. It just seems like it'd be good as a wave. Wave would explain all kinds of shit.
Actually, it cannot be a wave. Sugar's Poison said that dark matter isn't physical, so it cannot be a wave.
I don't think dark matter has got electrons associated with it necessarily, so it's unlikely that dark matter would affect photons in that way that you're suggesting.
Yeah. I think dark matter.
So are you voting for wave, Simos?
Yes, I go
Isn't it-
wave. The universe.
Oh yes! Aha! I got a physicist on my side.
Wave particle duality.
Close enough.
does anybody know how electricity actually works?
No.
I took a class with a really bad teacher, but the thing I got out of it was, I think, I might be wrong, was that electricity is actually the energy of basically the photon, the release of energy,
Electron.
skipping along. Thank you, the electron. Okay.
Hence electricity.
Skipping. Yeah. Okay. See, it was a while ago, and
It's okay.
but the point related to Helena's, idea or question is, I don't know if this is completely, something else, but it was the electron was basically jumping from atom to atom along the copper wire.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Right.
It's not. And well, never mind. I forgot too much of it. That might help explain it, but I forgot too.
I went to college for electrical and computer engineering, and like one of the first things they said to me we had these like little homerooms that were designated to you based on your major, right? And one of the first things they said, like the first day I went to class, is that as much as we propose to know about physics, no one can really explain exactly how electricity works. Now that was just the opinion of that professor, and I'm not saying it's necessarily true, but it is somewhat mysterious exactly what's happening inside of electronic systems.
Maybe that's why
Yeah,
it's so
but-
confusing.
I think there's an excess of electrons, and they get liberated from atoms, and those electrons have a direction flow, and that's what the current is.
Right. How it works is you have atoms that have a free electron space, right? And then you create an excess of electrons in one end, and they just equalize along that that chain of atoms with free electron spaces via ionization.
So is it the same electron, or is it? You
You
can
know,
never tell.
I'm not
Yeah, that
sure.
we'll
I'm
never
not
know an
sure if
answer
it's the same
today.
electron. I mean, we could maybe figure that out with an electron microscope, but I don't know out of hand if
I
it's the
think
same
it's
one that travels or if it just sheds them once it hits the equilibrium point where it's has more electrons than its neighbor ion.
So I thought you could apply that to the idea of light traveling.
I suspect we do know the answer to that. I just don't know. Because that seems like something you could see with an electron microscope pretty easily.
You think?
The flow of electrons, yeah, if it's in sufficient resolution.
There's only one electron.
Thanks, JJ.
There's only one anywhere?
Electron
There was
microscopes can see
that's a theory.
electrons?
That's what
It is a
they
theory.
do. That's literally what electron microscopes do is see
There's
electrons.
there's a
That's all.
theory about like there's a fundamental like nature of the universe that suggests there's only one electron and it's traveling backwards through time.
And
But
really
it travels
fast.
in all directions. I mean,
Yeah.
so in all places.
Yeah, it's kind of in a quantum state where it seems like it's everywhere at once.
Everywhere.
That comes
all
about
the
through
time.
QED and integral pathways. And now we
It's
calculate
not as crazy as JJ. I mean, it's kind of a troll answer around here, but it's actually like somewhat seriously taken in physics.
Yeah, honestly, I think it's silly, but
I don't think it's taken
maybe it's true.
so seriously anymore. I think the mathematics support it. I think we know the mathematics.
There's not much more to think about it, though. That's the only reason. You said there's not mathematics to support it? There is.
No, I think that's the only thing that does support it is the path
Right.
integral.
There's nothing to show that it's not true.
Claire?
Sure.
Yes.
I think there are some ideas that would show it to be incorrect in some ways because, and I'm only just recalling this from the conversation without looking it up, but I do seem to remember there was some, what was the word he used?
Are you really going to overtalk someone and then talk this slowly?
I beg your pardon. You go ahead.
It wasn't me. Whomever said my name, what do you want?
I was gonna say, I challenge you to the electron microscope showing electrons.
Well,
I'm gonna do some research.
It shows
but
the
I'm
fields of their
99%
charge.
sure. I'm 99% sure it is just an emission of electrons to show objects, tiny objects, but not necessarily electrons themselves.
It can show the field that they create because of their charge. I mean, it doesn't see the actual electron itself, but it sees its charge.
I thought
Okay,
Claire,
yeah,
didn't
you can't
say
see
it shoots
electrons.
out electrons?
But I mean, you could say
What'd
the
you
same
say,
thing.
Joe?
You can say the same thing. You can say the same thing about any kind of imaging, though, including your eye imaging. Like, you don't see an object; you see light reflecting off the object, right? So it's not really that big of a differentiation. Rationally.
Well, you can't see individual electrons.
I think it can see the charge from a single electron. In fact, I know it can,
The
because there's a particular
charge of the
there's a
electron.
hold on.
What does
Let
that
me
mean?
explain why. It can pick up a single electron's charge. Okay, and the reason I say that is because there's a famous quantum physics experiment where they put a single electron in superposition, so it's in two places at once, and the only way that they could observe the fact that it successfully was superpositioned is if they had a way to see just that one electron and then the second position of that one electron, right? Because if they didn't have the power to see that, then they would never know if it was a successful experiment or not.
I am not inclined to correct this rumor.
Joe, were you
Put it away,
going to say
JJ.
something?
I think I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I heard, well, what I was going to say, I heard Claire say she already kind of reaffirmed.
Oh, okay.
But does that make sense to you why it would be necessary for them to have the capacity to see the one electron for that experiment to even?
No.
Well, okay, so if you're doing an experiment where you see if you can put one electron in two places at once, but you can't see electrons, how are you going to determine the successfulness or failure of the
How do you get that's that doesn't the question doesn't even make sense because you're not able to carry out the experiment because you can't see what you're
But they
looking for.
have carried out the experiment, and it was successful in creating a superposition of one electron. So
How?
they did see it. What do you mean? How?
This
How
is
did
like
they
a famous
How did they
experiment.
see it?
How did they see the electron that they
I
can't see?
Did they use an electron microscope?
I assume they used an electron microscope.
What's the experiment called? I want to look it up.
You know, I can't say it off the top of my head. Hold
It's a
on.
double slit. You're talking about the double slit?
No, the
No, I'm not
double
talking
slit
about
is something
I'm
else.
not
something
talking-
more.
Oh, okay. I'm way off then.
I know what she's talking about, but I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, you're way off, Joe. Don't you feel like a piece of shit now?
Kinda.
I agree. I don't. She's right that it's like they took a photograph or an image of the like field of the electron.
Yeah, it's the field of it. But I mean, again, you only see the light reflecting off an object, so it's essentially the same.
What can you describe what the field of an electron is?
Particles.
It's the electromagnetic field put off by the negative charge of the electron.
Okay.
I think in general, you just need something with a shorter wavelength to see something with a bigger wavelength. And that's basically what it comes down to.
I love it when you talk waves, Simon.
So, so how do you see the electron? Then you
Stop-
need something.
stop doing
with
that, Helena. Stop doing that.
You need something smaller than an electron to see an electron. Then.
Yeah, that goes too much more into
Shorter
physics
wavelength.
than
Yeah, that's right.
yeah. So what has a smaller wavelength than an electron to see an electron?
Photon, probably.
And does
What, like sunlight?
what?
Probably not visible light. Probably
What, like sunlight?
much higher range. I don't know the actual wavelength of an electron, though. Personally.
Shine a flashlight on it?
Maybe 10 to the minus 19.
Yeah, Ben. I don't know why Ben is not talking.
I have a really stupid question. Maybe it's stupid, but I have to ask. How now I don't know physics as much as other stuff, but how does an electron have did you say the wavelength of an electron? Is that what you just said?
Who said that?
I'm forgotten. The guy who's
Simon.
Simon.
There's a thing called de Broglie wavelength. They're matter waves. So like anything actually has a wavelength. There's an equation for it.
All waves matter. Yeah,
JJ's waving right now.
Bennett has some answers in the YouTube chat.
Benna should come in and talk because I don't have YouTube open.
And anyway, Bennett said Shay is correct, Claire is wrong. Big
About which
capital
thing?
letters, wrong. About seeing electrons other than indirectly. They're detected indirectly, is what he
Well,
says.
is detecting them indirectly seeing their charge?
I
Seeing
don't know,
their
but,
magnetic field? Because that's what I said. And see, I'm not saying you can optically see the electron.
How
Well,
do you
well,
see
I
a
think the whole
magnetic
point was.
field?
I think the whole point was that you don't look at electrons using an electron microscope.
Yeah.
The
Like I said, I
electron
only
looks at other
assumed.
small. I'm sorry, what? What did
I
say?
only
What did I say?
assumed that an electron microscope is what they use to look at the electron.
Oh.
I did say that they have a way to see the electron.
Microscopes use electrons.
True.
They don't see electrons.
Yeah, it seems weird to say I see something, but not like optically.
Well, you think you can't say I see something on radar or I see something on sonar or something to that
Oh
effect?
fuck! Oh fuck!
Not in that sense.
Ah, shit.
Like I would say something's detected by a radar.
I think it's pretty reasonable to say I see something on radar. I think that's been said many a time.
I mean, I think the confusion was obvious here.
What do you got there, Jovan? Did you just find that Googling, or did you read it and you know about it?
I just Googled it.
Okay.
I just Googled electron per photo.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Ooh.
They filmed a moving electron.
I heard about that.
Well, I don't think I heard about that.
Send that to Josh. Destroy his entire worldview.
We're not going to be able to call it a theoretical postulate anymore.
Apparently, individual electrons can be observed using something called the bubble chamber method.
The bubble butt?
Yeah, the bubble butt.
Helena, there's always Helena, there's always something smaller. Don't worry. We can
Oh, phew. Just switch to quark.
Yep.
Claire, is that a film of the electron discharge?
Just came through. It's just some science nonsense.
What?
It's just physicalist propaganda. Just never mind it.
Science is the worst.
Close your eyes, Yuri. Don't look at the electron.
Yeah, it's observed with
Look at the
photons. So
electron.
whoever thought maybe it was observed with photons is correct. It's observed with photons.
Close your eyes and just say intentions
Here's
three
an
times.
art-
Rock
here's-
back and forth.
Here's an article. Here's an article about it. If you're
Normativity. Normativity.
He said intentions.
It's a hoax.
Intentionality. Bill Grommy, save me!
Yeah.
Thank you, Claire.
It looks like a late 90s screensaver.
So yeah, I was wrong in assuming or thinking that they use an electron microscope, but they can't observe electrons.
Oh, get wrecked.
Oh, so you're wrong? So you're wrong, Claire?
I originally said
Get
that I
wrecked.
assumed they used an electron microscope, but I
Oh, so
didn't.
you're
Everybody knew you were
assuming shit
wrong
now?
about that.
You guys are such faggots.
I think we need a new text chat that's like catalogs wreckings, and this would be like on this day, August 14th, 2019. Claire was wrecked about seeing electrons.
Log it.
Yeah, Claire, you want to play Overwatch in a bit?
I don't know,
Overwatch.
maybe.
Overwatch.
I said Overwatch.
Are you in
dumbasses.
comp yet?
No, actually, you didn't.
Overwatch.
I got one more level and then we're in comp. I'm on level 24.
Go work on that level.
Okay.
I'll play with you.
Well, there was another tricky one where they produced an anti-electron called a positron.
You're an
And then they
anti-electron.
And then they bonded it with an atom, well, hydrogen atom, to make anti-hydrogen.
That's crazy.
Yuri, can you
Quit
pronounce
your
that
crazy
word?
talk, Simon.
I know. It lasted about 15 seconds, maybe, before it was annihilated.
Yuri? Where'd he go? Oh, he's deafened.
Oh, get wrecked.
He's going
now.
try hard mode.
Danny!
Simon, what do you make of Bob Lazar?
Sorry, I'm not with you. Could you
You don't know who he is? Then
spell
never
it for
mind.
me?
Bob Lazar. He's the guy that says he worked at Area 51.
Bob
And
Laser?
back
Oh,
engineered-
that's yeah, yeah.
And back engineered a flying saucer.
Sorry, Robert Laser.
Yeah, I have heard of him. Yeah, I did see a documentary with him in quite a while ago. And yeah, I don't know. I'd put him. I don't know. Maybe a close second in world intellects behind von Helton.
What is Yuri doing?
I think I disconnected and reconnected, so I didn't hear what you said.
He said he puts him at a close second after Von Helton.
Yeah.
Close second. I don't think they're anywhere near each other, but
Well, he came up with the stealth bomber. Remember?
oh, that's right.
You can play Overwatch now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I see what you're. Okay, yeah.
Bob
Yeah, I'll play.
Lazar's got nothing on a Space Marine.
Living in Vegas, there was a person when I used to go to church that worked out there in Area 51. They said like the weird alien tech was false, but they were working with like anti-gravity or some shit.
Hmm.
Hey
That's
Tom.
interesting.
JJ works with that.
Tom, are you there?
Yes.
Can you send me over your old textbooks on Korean?
Oh.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's right, Tom.
I think I was gonna send them to someone Bent, but then I forgot to. But I think you did.
I wonder why.
I think that Bent wouldn't have a problem with them being sent to you. So yeah, I would do that for you.
Thanks, man.
Send me your address or mailing address, whatever. Under one condition, Yuri, you have to pronounce this word in the chat. Maybe you can share them with Ben. Like when you're done, send them to him. What that?
Say it.
Worcester?
See what? I can't. I knew you were gonna say that. You call it Overwatch, but you call it Worcester.
Say Overwatch, Yuri.
Overwatch.
No.
Say it louder.
That.
You guys are delusional.
I don't think that's a real word, Tom.
I think it's supposed to be Worcestershire.
Yeah.
Well, I think there is a Worcester, but I think he means Worcestershire.
It's just called. It's pronounced Worcestershire.
Worcestershire.
But there's
But
another
the
one.
word is Worcestershire.
Right, but it's not pronounced like that.
Right. What Tom is trying to spell is Worcestershire.
Yeah, I agree. That's what he wants to spell.
That's how it's spelled.
Yeah, it's a type of steak sauce or something like that.
I don't think Worcestershire.
Well, it's actually a city.
Yeah, there's no
is a
H. There's no H in that word. It's a misspelling.
I thought Worcestershire was spelled Worcester, just like that. No?
I don't think so. Maybe they had to create a new word. That's the way people are saying it. I don't know.
It's about time.
I thought the sauce was Worcestershire.
That's how it sounds too.
That's
not it.
That's
that
exactly
is
how it
you,
reads.
That is.
This is
That
the
is
sound
how
of
you
brain damage.
That's how you spell it, JJ. You're correct.
But that's how it reads.
So
yeah.
JJ, you.
Yeah,
I'm
Tom.
gonna spell the way I thought it was spelled. It's
Yeah,
gonna,
Tom spelled it with an H initially.
So JJ, remember your previous supposition that PTSD equals brain damage because you have PTSD and think you
There
have
you
brain
go.
damage? I'm not willing to.
There's from the fucking wiki.
Okay, no, not like that. No,
And
okay. We're not
and
gonna
Sam
make
was correct.
We're not gonna
There
make
is
the new
no
text
H.
chat yet. This can't be logged. This can't be saved. This can't be not like this.
That's correct. Correct, Tom.
I actually.
And Sam was correct also. There's
I
no
actually
fucking
found
H.
out. I actually found something out here. I'm gonna prove you all wrong. Listen to this.
That they. Oh fuck.
Aw. What?
Triple wrecked, bitch.
I don't know. That's pronounced Horhester.
Oh, I see. Thank you.
Horhester.
What's going on with our bots, people?
Yeah, and Worcester is pronounced Worcester. But Worcestershire is pronounced Worcestershire.
Gotcha. I can fix it.
Tom's messing up the bots, man.
I wrote the way I thought it had been spelled. I've always thought it was spelled like that.
Well, yeah, Worcester is a thing.
You slimy American.
Where's my results? Yes.
What's going on with our bots? What
so
did you guys do while I was gone?
pronounced
Everybody hear that?
Do it again.
Wasababi. 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 Wasababi.
All right, case closed.
Why are there two B's in there?
Thank you, Tom.
What do you mean, 2 B's?
Wasababi? What?
That's how it's pronounced.
Wasababi. Wasababi.
She probably says karaoke also.
Who's she?
It's Japanese. I think it was Shay.
I say
It's a
karaoke.
Japanese word.
Wait, Shay, how do you think it's pronounced?
Wasabi?
What?
What?
Typical American.
Hey,
I mean,
gringo.
What the fuck? I'm gonna go to the dictionary. I'll be right back. I don't trust your.
No. Wait, we can just Google it here. We'll just Google it.
No, this was settled with this video. This is one of those pronunciation videos on YouTube.
Wasababi. Wasababi.
It's the opposite of having letters that are silent. There's letters that are pronounced that aren't actually in the word.
Yeah. Yeah. Arabic words. Arabic words have a similar practice.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, I got sushi this morning and asked for my ginger slices and wasabi to be put on the side. I did. It was delicious.
I'm not a big fan of wasabi sauce, to be honest.
Well, you use it sparingly. It's a nice little bite to it.
Shay, are you saying you go into sushi restaurants and you ask for wasabi?
I've never asked for wasabi because I never go to sushi
Oh,
restaurants.
well, that explains
Oh,
why.
okay. Well, that explains why you're unaware.
Yeah, and if you want to be correct, it's not karaoke, it's karaoke.
It's not teriyaki. It's teriyaki.
Yes, teriyaki.
Teriyaki.
What about soy sauce? What about soy sauce? Is
That's
that
just
soy?
American.
And it's not.
There is a Japanese word for soy sauce. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we were actually fighting about this one day, Shay, before we found the pronunciation actually on YouTube. We actually called up Japanese restaurants to figure out what the proper pronunciation was. So we said wasabi. They had no idea what we were talking about. So then we called and said, do you have any wasabi? Knew exactly what we were talking about every single time.
Well, the one guy corrected you directly.
Right. I said, do you have any wasabi? He said, do you mean wasababi? That's what he said. It's crazy. Now you know. This is why when Americans go in there, they just think that we're all stupid. You know, stupid Americans.
Well, at least you don't look like the rest of us.
It's not the only reason, Tom. Be fair.
Yeah, but if Tom goes in there looking Asian and still doesn't know, he looks even dumber than the white people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So it's even
but
worse
he's
for
not
him.
dumb. Yeah, but he's.
I didn't say he was dumb. Can you not track a 2-sentence statement, Jay?
I didn't say you said that.
Wow.
I didn't say you said that. I said you said that.
Uh-oh.
I agree, Seth.
How
Are we
you-
clear on Worcester and Worcestershire?
How you live this long
Worcestershire.
is just fucking beyond me, JJ.
What?
I said I'm surprised you haven't drowned taking a shower yet.
And JJ, Are we clear on how the pronunciation of masturbation and public-private conversation? Do we know the difference there?
JJ is the kind of person that would drown himself with a neti pot, though. Isn't that
No,
right,
it's
JJ?
funny. When I was younger, I hated that. I hated getting water up my nose, but after a while, you get used to it.
Man, those brain-eating amoebas are gonna get you.
Yeah.
Minnesota's full of that.
Actually, there was just a big E. coli outbreak in Lake Nokomis.
Use that tap water.
I heard that on the radio.
And there's
Beaches are
blue
closed
green
down.
algae in Texas killing all the dogs.
I think Nadia is reaching that sort of like Zuli level for me. I mean,
Yeah, she really is just like having a conversation with no.
There's
Has
that-
been
that-
for weeks.
I feel
Is that
bad her
the
text
brain
is
eating
like white
amoeba
noise.
that's called wisteria? Something's in the water that's bad for you called wisteria.
let's see. This one was funny that I saw her say. This one. It's like an outline of like how she'll eventually be killed.
Yeah, that's when I looked the other way. I was
Look-
like, I don't.
Oh,
I
that's
don't
even just
care
Snooks.
anymore.
Look at how
Tom, cue it up. Cue it up.
look how detailed it is.
I know, and I just like I had to run because I just couldn't cope with.
Trump's going to rig 2020 with voter suppression. Then SCOTUS will overturn Roe v. Wade in Lawrence v. Texas. Then the Republicans will recapture the House in 2022 from rigging with voter suppression. Then national anti-abortion, anti-sodomy, anti-female impersonation laws with a death penalty will pass.
You know what? You are not going to laugh. You are not going to be laughing when all this comes true.
Then Trump will send in the National Guard from red states like Alabama to enforce those laws on blue cities like New York and San Francisco. They're gonna go they're gonna go door to door and say like, "Got any trannies?" Like the fucking Nazis.
Jesus Christ.
Any Jews in the attic? No, I harbor no transgenders, sir.
Yeah, never again, Tom.
I just can't talk when that happens.
God, we'll actually be able to change the
Yeah.
thought. We're gonna have to change the thought experiment from Jews in the attic to the National Guard comes and asks for any transgenders in your basement.
And it will still be okay to lie without anybody's consent.
She stands by that prediction. She said.
She already predicted that when Trump gets elected, they would come. The National Guard would come to kill her, though.
Well, isn't that his thing? Stoking fear. It's working.
I don't know why anyone is that skeptical about that turn of events. I mean, anything's possible since Trump got elected. I mean, Jesus Christ. The political norms are dead.
I know.
I think
So
after
are masturbatory norms. Just saying.
I think after Trump is reelected, if he is, which is maybe likely, I don't know. I think that a lot of people are going to come out of the woodwork on going to be like entertaining presidential runs because they're going to be like, wow, it's like Trump actually did it. The son of a bitch did it. And you'll just have like Kanye West running or something like. It'll just be like a bunch of celebrities running and stuff.
No.
See,
The only thing that narrative has going against it is it's all of its specificity, right? It's a long, drawn out with specifics, and those kinds of predictions are unlikely to happen, especially when one builds on the last. Because if any one of those fail, the whole prediction fails. That's the only thing it really has going against it.
Well, all right. Y'all know our very own Michael Fail is running, right?
He runs every time.
Okay, you did know that.
Runs for what?
I mean, but Okay, Seth, even under a Republican administration, you think anti-sodomy and anti-female impersonation laws with the death penalty will pass? Like, just that one prediction. Like, come on. Like, the Republicans are nuts.
Yeah, that's unlikely.
Yeah, the Republicans are nuts, but that would never pass. Like,
I think it's a lot more likely since 2016 than it would have been like before. It's a lot more likely now.
I don't think
Sure.
it's likely at all. Like I've never met people more into traps and dick girls than alt-right people.
Right?
They're never gonna want that.
okay.
I get orbited all day by pseudo-Nazis.
Yeah, Ace. What is up with Ace? Is like this weird incel who like is totally into your nuts.
He's certainly not the only one. I get invited to like all the ridiculous Atomwaff or bullshit hangout servers, or Atomwaff and bullshit hangout servers. All the fuck.
It's the fact that you have power and yet you're not outwardly masculine.
Sure.
It's because she has a dick.
She's very pretty.
It's because I'm pretty and have a dick, so they don't feel as gay and they feel safe exploring their bisexual tendencies.
She's just enough of a girl.
I think the presidency is going to be determined by subscribers.
Subscribers of what? I'll ask.
Oh, just in general, I think that's the way it's going to be. It's like whoever has the most subscribers.
Subscribers? Like a magazine?
No, like Twitch, YouTube, that kind of thing.
Like a social Internet. credit score?
Shit. Okay.
A social type credit score?
I never thought of them as subscribers because they're all free. But yeah, I see what you mean. Whatever.
I'll be back pretty soon. I'll see you guys later.
Yeah.
Take care.
It's so good to be back.
Good to have you back.
Yay.
Yeah, we'll hash this out some more, Alan.
Helen, are you there?
She just left.
I wanted to get her before she left. Fuck you, Lynn.
Try her DMs.
Yeah.
Because that's going to work.
That.
So yeah, it's actually pronounced wasabi. Sorry, guys.
I thought it was wasabi.
My bad, guys.
Uh-huh.
Wasabi.
It's disappointing that Dio isn't here for that admission.
Right.
Well, that's what he gets for being bald.
Has Dio published any videos recently?
There was the personal.
No, he hasn't.
So he's been absent entirely from any online presence for that any of us would be aware of.
Yeah, Iron agrees with me that he's not coming back until he gets shit sorted out, and then he'll be back to gloat, like kind of like John. Like he's kind of like disappeared for a while, then he comes back. He's like got his first concrete forming job, and he's like, "Hey, who else? You guys all don't have jobs, right? You fucks."
The John impersonation.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, we all know that if Dio had a girlfriend and like a new job and like, you know, whatever else, moved out, he'd be here telling us we're all stupid asses for thinking that, right?
Although he might come back as like a sort of Radson figure. So he might come back with like all that stuff set out and then be like, you guys just need to improve yourselves. Like I found God or something like that.
I don't know. I don't know if Dio could. Do you think he could like become a Catholic, like he wants to become?
I'm not sure. I don't think he could stomach traditional religion because I think he's like too educated.
I thought he wanted to be a Hindu.
Yeah, I'm more inclined coming back as a Hindu guru.
You would get burned alive.
But honestly, anything that helps him feel more empowered will let him come back.
Do you talk to him at all, Iron?
No, not really.
Not really? So you do?
Yeah, I mean occasionally here and there.
Oh, so he's on Discord?
No, I haven't talked to him on Discord in a while. I mean, I don't keep like a index. I'd have to try and find out when the last time was.
What platform are you speaking to him on?
Well, I still have him on like my email list and stuff.
Your email list?
Tom, kick Yuri. He's AFK.
I don't even know how to do that.
So what's going on with you, Iron, in your absence? Did you turn your life around and manage to pull in 6 figures?
No, unfortunately not.
Yeah, me either, man.
It's alright, Iron.
Yeah. Sucks. I guess your theory doesn't apply in all cases.
What theory?
People that leave for a while and then come back.
Oh no, that's not really the theory.
We all know Iron's an outlier.
It's like Iron's leaving wasn't dependent on those like life metrics being met or not. So
Honestly, I think he could just read a new book that empowers him and he'll come back and talk about that fucking book, whatever it is. Some new knowledge for him to share. I don't think he'll hold out for everything he wants.
well, it won't be. It'll. Who knows what he's comfortable with? But
Right.
I mean, I think he'd probably come back with like a new job or a new girlfriend or like any of those being met.
Yeah, I agree. But if he doesn't get those immediately, he might settle for coming back and feeling just empowered enough, like I said, by reading a new book. Or maybe even something lesser than that. That's all I'm saying.
Maybe.
I can't believe nobody's talked to him, though. I would have thought that Ken would have talked to him.
He said he did talk to him.
Over email.
Oh, shit, I missed that. I was making coffee.
Yeah, people talk to him. I mean, Ace talks to him every once in a while too.
When was the last time you communicated with him?
Oh, I don't know. Like I said, probably a couple of months, maybe.
Oh, shit. He hasn't even been gone that long, has he?
Not really. It's been probably like 3 or 4 months.
Has it been that long? All right.
It's kind of been a while now. Yeah.
I have a really terrible sense of time. It doesn't seem like that. All right. Yeah, it's too quiet.
Okay, then open your mouth, JJ.
I just did.
Spot off about some dumb shit. Like, let's talk about Game of Thrones or Star Wars or
No,
something.
fuck that bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Another server killed by JJ.
Yes.
All right, I'll do a reading here.
Did everybody see the new GIF by JHC? JHC, sorry, DGH.
Mm-mm.
You did too.
Is it the one where you, Sugar has your cum on his face?
No. DGH made that, or yes, DGH made that one.
Okay. I think we should put the Wasababi 10-hour loop version. Was it posted? Oh, okay.
Huh?
You're gonna make me kick the bot if you do that. I'd fucking go crazy.
Stop. Very good work by DGH.
I agree.
I like this one.
That's epic.
He was trying to do the bottle cap challenge, and he thought if he filled it up with water that it would help.
He looks so panicked.
Because the bottle broke.
So funny.
The bottle smashed all over the floor.
Yeah, you couldn't tell watching the video. No.
Did you watch the entire interview? AMA with a naturopath idiot? Something like that? I don't know.
Thank you, Tom.
The best part was him talking about how healthy he eats and his fridge was empty.
Except for the frozen dinner. He brought out a frozen dinner.
And a can of whipped cream.
It was almond
whipped cream.
Milk cream.
I'm surprised he's not vegan. I feel like he should be vegan.
Is he not? He's
I'm gonna bring it up next time. Is he in here? I feel like he's in here.
He is in here. Or
Sugar, are you vegan?
ago. Yeah, has been. Sure.
Is he?
He's just ignoring
Fia
me
that
now.
was talking.
Hi.
Sorry.
Yeah, Sugar is a vegan.
I
feel like he would be.
I don't think he is.
Sausages.
I mean,
Heat sauce.
he told me he was, unless
He lied.
What he does is, when he's sleeping, he leaves his phone in the other room because he's concerned about the waves that the phone is emitting.
Who fucking told me that? I thought that was so funny.
Is that with
Like,
his
I
water?
understand the router thing,
Yeah,
maybe.
He also has
But
a measuring device to check to see whether his router's waves are reaching his bed. And then on his own source, I showed to him that there's no issue sleeping next to a router because the level of power that the router uses is very, very low because of the distance that the waves have to travel.
yeah,
Basically,
microwaves
so-
have more
so-
strength than a phone
So no-
than a router does.
So with telecommunications equipment, there is a risk of that kind of radiation, but all of that's regulated by the FCC. Like nothing gets on consumer, nothing's going to get on the shelf available to you commercially in the U.S. that's harmful. Like that's all very
Because
strictly
that
regulated.
never happened. It's never happened, and it'll never happen again.
Sam, I got some 5G memes for you, man.
Which memes? You mean about the ones that it's setting our climate detectors back, or what?
Oh, that it's like morphing people's brains or shit. And, like, confusing them.
Those memes. Okay, so the fake shit, not the real shit.
Listen, 5G is going to be great for our economy. It's going to add a lot of jobs. It's going to be great.
Yep, it's gonna kill
It's a health
people.
risk.
Tremendous
That's the
speeds,
kind of
tremendous.
thing that
Yeah, it's a health risk though.
It's gonna
no,
kill
it
two
wasn't iron,
birds
it
with
was
one
beige.
stone.
There we go. Yep.
And there's gonna be a lot of jizz.
There's always a lot of jizz.
Gonna be a lot of undetected hurricanes, like late detection. It's gonna wipe out some people. Be some good stuff. Do you know what I'm talking about, Sam?
No, to be honest.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the 5G, the satellite frequency that they're using, is actually going to interfere with our ability to be able to accurately know when like hurricanes and giant waves or like tsunami type things are going to hit, like coastal regions. So like if they'll like evacuate people for no reason, or they won't evacuate them because they won't be sure, it's going to set us back like 30 years approximately. This was released
Is
by.
it just like
various-
interference that occurs on the channel, or what's the reason exactly?
I can link you an article about it. Something
Yeah.
to do with that, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to read into it because normally when they move from between different revisions, usually one thing that they always make sure of is to add additional bandwidth for more channels across the revision. So, for example, with router technology, when they went from 2.4 to 2.4 gigahertz to 4, they made sure to include additional channels. So it supports like 152 channels as opposed to 14, specifically to reduce interference across channels. So I'd be surprised if that wasn't built in to the 5G networks, but yeah, I mean, I'd like to see the article. It's fine.
Oh my god, these are so bad. This one says, chemtrails, you're getting them whether you like it or not.
Clever.
That's actually kind of funny.
I found like a gold mine of these, and like they just kept getting worse.
Oh yeah, I remember those, man. Some funny stuff.
Anyway, let me see if these will post. These ones specifically are about 5G. Okay.
Well, that's just like the electron discussion. I mean, whatever answer we find out, it's going to be shocking.
They both harm us with